guys, it's Crypto Sniper here. Yep, quick check-in with you. This is Kronos, Crow, basically CRO. More downside expected on this cheeky, lovely little shorts. The alts are actually the ones that are setting up the best shorts at the moment. Why? Because there's a real risk-off environment. Tech is plummeting. We can take a look at ARK if you like. Kathy Wood's kind of a Main Street, Wall Street, Rockefeller hero for crypto and the exponential world as a fund manager. She's being slaughtered at the moment. CRO, Spiller, Thriller, we see it still rolling sub 19 here in the Sense department. This was it touching out at about 50 at one point. We saw this risk off, we saw this potential structure coming, and there she blows, there she blows. TG Pink go with a big, the fat lipstick on tonight. I'll put the red dress on and the fat TG Pink lipstick on. What the hell? And there you go, spill, spill, spill. This is nasty little puke. Second interim coming up there, around about the 25s, might get a bounce there. And then hang out, and then there's going to be a next level sell-off for me overall. It's going to run you sub 19 too, which is quite a fall from 50, so you don't want to have been in that one. We've been watching this and talking about this in the premium community for quite an extended time, along with other alts. So what other alts have we been short? I mentioned in a quick update on the hoof, more walk and talk varieties. I mentioned Tezos as a candidate, which is also in there for us. It's not as bad, it's not falling as hard. We're on the log scale there, let's go regular. But we're seeing sub 105, which could indeed even mean a dip below the ones. This was trading at 3 when we were getting in. 3.3 is odd over here. Nice little fractal and squeeze in there. So it's looking a bit soft. It's not spilt as well as Crow yet. But this could be optimized on this little fractal inside the funnel here. You'll learn all about that and more when you book a call to chat with a crypto trader, investor, long-term wealth builder that has been with the community at least 2 or 3 years. All our staff come from the community. It's actually quite funny. I'm going to do a sidebar here. Just allow me this one. You'll find this one interesting, actually. Someone was saying, there we go. Shout out to Frodo, of his own accord, posted this tweet, Crypto Love. I also had an introductory call today and can attest the exact same. He's actually replying to the main guy. I probably talked to the same guy. That's Devolt, I'm pretty sure. If he's the South African one, we've got an American sounding one too. All people that we've recruited from our community members to talk to our future people. And it's totally optional chat. There's no high pressure nonsense. Some people are like, why, oh, I don't want to book a call. You know, as if it'll be me on the phone and I'll do a Jedi mind trick. Look into my eyes, look into my eyes, look into my eyes. You are removing your wallet. Your credit card is levitating out. You cannot stop it, you cannot stop it. You are forced now to sign. There it goes, your money is now gone. Thank you very much for coming, you may leave. I'm afraid we don't do that at all. We're a community of the willing. And these guys, this is an Australian fellow, Marco, thank you for the mention. He did it all of his own accord. As again, we aren't asking people to mention this on Twitter. With the Market Sniper team, very professional overview, really approachable SA bloke, extremely tempting products. That's what happens. And there's no hustle, there's no high pressure. This is a community of the willing. And we have 14 days money back. No questions. You don't even have to say, sorry, I made a mistake. Can I have my money back? Sure, mate. 2 weeks ago, no problem. Back in your account. So some people seem to have, or I was expecting, as if there's something clever to expect, to watch, ambush. No. 2 people having a conversation on a call about a possible service, the costs, what's included, and a full demonstration, and entirely optional, and a first visit incentive if you want to take it. If you don't, you don't. Many people who've had calls end up entering 6 months later, a year later, but they suddenly realize there's nothing to be afraid of. Anyway, back to the community. We'll have all the YouTube comments, you're selling. No, I'm just trying to remove this Funny notion. There's so many. There must be so many scams. By the way, we got a Telegram group scam who's copying us, using my image photo under the Market Sniper channel. You're welcome to report it. Any scammers, just report. There's so many dishonest people that want to live a life not of integrity and not say what they mean, and duality of message. And I'm just like, I think that's why people expect scary stuff. So Tezos against Bitcoin also looking soft. Tezos against ETH also looking soft. ETH is a big boy nowadays. You know, he's been relatively strong along with BTC. And I think it wouldn't shock me if ETH BTC is actually slightly up. You see, that's a nice little corrective move, and ETH versus BTC, you're actually getting a little bit of outperform on ETH. We've said this countless times. But that doesn't mean it's a super bull market. You will lose less money, in my view, sitting in Ethereum than you are going to be in XYZ. I mean, you just saw Crow. I showed you 50 cents to 19 cents. That's more than 50%. You've lost about 65% of your money there in Crow. Sad but true. ETH is relatively strong. Tezos, we also gave you Maker as a spiller, a thriller. And we've given you a target. We gave it to you once before, 374. These are long-termers. If these sell-offs continue, this is your structure here. And of course, you had a little bit of churn and rontom-tali, as they call it over here, and now you're bleeding out. You're going to have a chunk of interims here around about the 1,000 mark. Makes sense to me. Run, spill through 1,000, get a bit of a rally in a bit. But guess what? We've got a scary ass 374 number. We were giving that number out when it was trading 2,700. That's right, 375. We were giving that out when it was 2,800, 2,700 levels to our community members. Now it's 1,481. They're almost 50% in the good already. It's almost half what the 2.7 was, a couple $100 more. So I mean, that's the downside of where we're at, guys, at crypto. You can see the volume of crypto YouTubes have dropped, both on me and everyone else. One of the reasons I reduce is that people hate you for calling shorts. They absolutely hate you for saying for shorts. All you get is puke on your channel and unsubscribes and all of that. I'm quite happy to actually lose crybaby unsubscribes. I don't want any number of subscribers if they're just moon boys. Moon boys don't make good community members later. They don't understand that there's harvest season and there's plow season and there's sit around and wait season. You don't only just harvest non-stop year round. You've got to do some plowing and some sowing to later harvest. And even in very strong exponential categories like crypto, you have to have a plant, a wait, water and a nurture season. And this isn't a very good season, and it's mainly been driven by macro. And most guys in crypto don't want to learn a thing about macro. I don't want to learn anything about it. I want to, which is the best token? Just tell me which is the best token. What do you do? Well, you should learn a little bit about macro, and you should learn a little bit about, even more so, about charting. Then you don't need to know so much about macro or anything. You can see relative strength and doing it properly. But this is terrible charting. I mean, this basing ascending grind line, which is stuff you can only learn about if you check in with us. You'll watch the phraseology be used by me in all our media, in all my updates I do for the community. It's in the recorded content. You can watch it all clearly, enjoy it. It's recorded professionally. We've just done another clip today. Not like this, actually. It's more professional than a YouTube presentation. It's full on headsets, veranda, top end, headset, audio, slides, the shooting match. Recorded. We take it seriously. We want to do it well. We want to do it well. We want it to be integrity. We want when someone spends some money that he actually thinks these guys have tried to deliver a decent product. I know it's a unique thing in crypto world, but some people just think, have a bit of integrity. Why not? And let the willing join. So anyway, it's not looking good for Maker either. I also mentioned eGold. It's also a little bit of a sick puppy. So a lot of alts here. And you might ask, what's that fib on there that looks all ice cream? Well, that's from your secondary high here down to this low. That was your 1.618 and your 2.618 absolute high. So that was just a bit of legacy macro. And now you're doing literally a round trip. And people in crypto always think this will never happen, but you've round tripped on alts many times. Many times. Alts have gone down a round trip. Those aren't the heroes, that's the stayers. Generally, I mean, Bitcoin's done 20K and gone back down to 3,200. So, the big daddy has done virtually a round tripper. I remember trading it on an upside on 3K, watching go to 20K, and then trading it down at 6,200 to the downside. So, I mean, there's a lot of softness, but I mean, it isn't chronic on Elrond. But here's the concern I have. The weakest currency so far this year, absolutely spilling its guts, the USD JPY. So let's just show you a couple of things macro, and then we'll bring it into Bitcoin quite quickly so you can enjoy this. It's not going to be a too lengthy, a too deep a dive for you. This is the USD yen. This is what we called on the macro. In fact, FX is the new crypto market mover, by the way. I mean, you guys don't understand what I'm saying. Let me just take the lines off here because this is a big time frame chart. That is a crypto move. There, right there. That is a crypto-esque like move. It is huge. You don't understand what. I mean, you had Raoul's talking about. That's a 7 sigma move in this. This thing has been in a tight range and a tightening range, since about 2015. It first jumped onto this ledge in about 14. It's almost a decade later. 8 years. The first cup gold nugget of crypto was 2.5 years, guys, and that was big. It's 25% of Bitcoin's life. This is an 8-year tightening consolidation. You could have been trading in this. You could even have Bitcoin and be trading in FX. But what does that mean? This is the weakest currency, the yen at the moment, of the majors of any significance. So if we go to Bitcoin versus the yen, Bitcoin should be doing really well against the yen because the yen has been sick puppies. How does the technicals look there? And this is what I was just sharing on Twitter. If you're not already following, you can jump in and have a look. Let's put the eye back on. Let's go daily. This is what we've got. Now it's better than Bitcoin dollar. This isn't a great chart, guys. This isn't a typical bottom. So some of you might rush out. This is my draw for it. My framing is broadening structure on a selling pole. You'll learn about that, ascending megaphones, etc. if you choose to come aboard. themarketsniper.com. Boom. Links below. Use the links below to book a call. SimpleFX, where I trade. Pure gold if you want to buy a physical. We've got our FX brokers if you want to look into the markets and trade FX brokers. It's all down there. Links below. Every single link below I personally use. There's no one who's paid me anything to put anything in there. If I don't have an account and I'm not using it, not just once opened it and was disgusted and left it, but left it in there for affiliate earnings. No, I use it. If I don't use it, it's not there. If it pissed me off, I wouldn't put it to you. But this is garbage. This is garbage price. This is not strong. This is squeezing up. It's a little bit of fractal squeezing up against here. Plus, important thing for crypto kitties that you will not know or remember or understand. Wednesday is a very important day. Today, Monday. By the time many of you will be watching it, because I'm far out in the West, it could already be Tuesday. On the, is it 5th? It'll be 4th of May, FoMC, you're going to hear what interest rate, and you might think, I don't give a monkeys. Well, actually, the market did. You may remember we said, okay, look, we thought this was going to go down. I've mentioned this a couple of times. So I mentioned where we've been wrong as well. We were wrong on that. And the one thing that saved this, that drove it up, if you put the FOMC meetings that was the FOMC meeting right there. And you know what they did? They were 7.9% CPI and they raised by 0.25%. As I've said many times before, it's like taking your pea shooter to kill an elephant. Nice try. We appreciate the spirit. We're not expecting too much on the outcome front though. So what did they do? Oh, they're not so serious about inflation. That's cool. Easy money policies continue. Bitcoin went up. Stinky stoink market went up. NASDAQ, you name it. They all went up. Guess what? The problems never went away. Inflation kept coming in worse. Now they're talking about essentially a half a point in interest rate hike. And some have even said 0.75 is the new half a point. They won't do 0.75, not for all the tea in China, in my opinion, because they're not really serious about winning inflation, but they're probably going to do half. So that's twice as much as they did last time. So you're going to have a volatile time. What might happen is, okay, it's baked into the price. All the selling off is on the fact that there's a quarter point interest rate. And we'll explain more on why that matters to Bitcoin in a minute. So you get a relief rally. You could even get a relief rally, and then you come back down, and then you fizzle. Because they start talking about what needs to happen at the next meeting. And first you get a little bit of relief, then you go into Friday. Nobody wants to hold. Risk on over a weekend with only bad news and downside happening. So why do interest rates matter? Because the debt market is collapsing. And the debt market collapses, money is dying. People are therefore selling other things to get cash. So why is money dying? Well, let's take a little look. Let's start with the dodgiest debt market of them all. And that is the high yield debt market. High yield basically is corporations that are under distress, that have borrowed money at expensive rates because banks think there's a much bigger chance that they might actually go bust. So here's high yield. So this market, the last time we called bear, we sold up top here, believe it or not. Very good entry, but it didn't work out for us despite that good entry. We sold over here. We felt that the high yield debt markets were overvalued. This was all what we call a inverted structure. You don't know much about this. You've got to learn how to do this. Let me do it on a monthly, or at least let's go monthly. It's a big time frame. The last spiller, by the way, on the garbage market that is high yield debt, junk basically, was here. It's even called junk. Was into the 08-09. That was the great financial crisis, which was a debt-based crisis, most of it property-related, but debt generally. This was roll, it needs to die again. We started to break with your COVID narrative, lockdowns. And guess what? Fed suddenly intervened to support junk debt, and it rallied back up. And now it's triggering again. It's triggered again. And this time, they're saying, well, they can't intervene like they did last time. There's new rules. Oh, okay. So things have got to get worse, harsher, and they have to find a new justification to hold up an ETF. So debt markets are failing, and you might say, well, this is the junk debt markets. That's the crap end, the garbage end, the fringe of the debt markets. Well, here's your 10-year. Traded for the first time above 3%. This is the snappiest rally in rates from 0.3 to 3 in an exceptionally short time. And this is because the value of that debt is going down. The yield required to attract new investors has to go up. So there's too much debt. And I highlight this on a log scale and a monthly time frame. And this is, you can see how trends end. They capitulate or they blow off. Think .com boom. And the amount of times I've been saying this was a trend-changing event. And we said it in July following this March 20 event, that this is going to be the end of debt. It bookmarks an end of a trend. It's like .com boom, blow off into 2000. It's a bookmarking of an end of trend event. There's more junk. This one's well on its way. It had a proper spill, SHYG, and it's already rolling over again. So, I mean, that's your debt market. This is an ETF holding debt. It's in a massive macro head and shoulders. It gaps down regularly. I mean, short of this on IG, you can short it on IG, TLT, 20 plus years, long-term debt, spiller, thriller, all the way from Manila. We said here it was a short, first inverted in a new trend, and we called it again there. Just when I was reading other big guys, much more followers on macro markets saying, oh, debt is cheap here, you should buy calls on debt. And this is how it's done since. It's going to 89 and beyond to the downside, in my opinion. This is an end of a 40-year trend. This is a macro head and shoulders. We called this macro head and shoulders. We guessed that it might happen over here. After this rally and it started to roll over, we became really interested here. That was a bounce on the neckline. That was a triggering event. Man, the debt market is failing. And initially, that's bad for Bitcoin. Later, it becomes good for Bitcoin and the crypto because it's the dying of the old horse and the moving on to the new horse. But first, money is destroyed because somebody's debt is somebody else's asset that's losing value rapidly. Debt should probably go to zero. There's way too much of it. So that's a lot of money that gets killed. Those people that lose those assets sell other things to get their money back, to be liquid. And crypto is liquid. It's easier to sell 10 Bitcoin than it is to sell 10 houses. So that's where we are. So let's have a look at the Bitcoin chart itself, apart from the USD version of it. So super annotated as usual. Drop down the time frame. You know all this history. I won't recap if you're a regular follower of this channel, but this is still a bleed out of a flag-like structure. Let's go 8 hours. This is a flag-like structure. We'll wait for them to finish drawing it for me. And you're slipping out. It's not brutal. And we'll see what happens at the FoMC. And Bitcoin being the dog it can suddenly spike. And last time, as I suggested, the FoMC, you did get this spike coming out of it. And then you're down here and you're marginally low. So I'm not calling that this is going to particularly die. By the way, this is a key point on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not the weak one of the crypto market. Let's just take you up to this. Bitcoin is showing dominance. I'm not going to become the Maxi's best friend now, believe you me. It's not my intention, but I will tell you what I think is happening. And Bitcoin dominance is going up. Now, many of you, that's too much detail. You can't make head nor tail of that chart. I might just switch off the lines because if you haven't been drawing this and following this all the way along like I have, you won't understand it. Essentially, this is a falling wedge. We're the only guys who put a splitter. Anyone you see who's put a splitter has copied it from the market sniper. They're starting to see a lot of copiers. They don't know how to use it. They haven't studied, and they don't know what it means, but they think it looks cool. So you'll see a lot of it around. Go tell them, nice tool. Do you know what it means? Do you know how to use it? What does it mean? So falling wedge, this is a bounce off your splitter essentially, or support in and around, and you're knocking on, wait for it, a capping, descending grind line. So what does that generally point to? A break up in Bitcoin dominance. Now, there's a couple of ways you can get a break up in Bitcoin dominance, but I'm going to tell you, in most instances, in the current environment, the most likely one is very bearish. So Bitcoin goes down less in a going down market. That's how you get Bitcoin dominance. And if you want to just test that hypothesis, most times it's correct. In other words, you don't want dominance to climb. Even if you're a maxi, you don't want dominance to climb. Because if you stay, there was 1 or 2 moments where Bitcoin honey badgered, all the money coming in. That was when the Bitcoin cash split was taking place in sort of 17. There were a couple of instances. So it's not a universal truth, it's a general truth. That means most instances this is not good. And we can go have a look, and we will go have a look. But in essence, Bitcoin going up means it's going down less than everything else, or it's flat and everything else is going down, or most of everything else is going down. There's no generalities. Or it's going marginally up, but not a great deal, and everything else is flat to down slightly. But generally it's bearish. They're all going down, just Bitcoin less so. That's the most common. So we'll test that hypothesis. And this is dominance. This is going to show that it's going to go up. Now it could come back down and visit one more time, and it could even visit this level. That could be mini alt recovery periods and a little bit of Bitcoin recovery. I don't think we're seeing that 38.6 again. Of Bitcoin for a bit. I think we're going up, and Bitcoin goes back into the 40s, potentially mid 40s, and potentially upper 40s towards strength, and it could even become half the market cap again on a good extension and beyond. So bear that in mind. It is not, Bitcoin dominance structure is not positive for crypto. So I've just put it back on regular instead of log scale mode. So let's just go have a look historically. How has crypto done when Bitcoin dominance has gone down, and how it's gone when it's gone up? So I think many of you will agree. So let's split the best way to do this is in actual fact to put the Bitcoin price under here. We need them on both the same time frame. That's daily, that's weekly, so we'll do the bottom on weekly too. Now generally Bitcoin is going up. (2022) roughly in the same place. 2021, we go there, a little bit beyond. Let's pull this across. See that right there? So up top here, you're at Bitcoin highs. High, there. Bitcoin dominance dropped April, June. Bitcoin dominance rose through this period. It dropped, it dropped, it dropped, it climbed again into the final highs. So that was Bitcoin dominance climbing. Now only Bitcoin was really making new highs here at 69. You go and have a look at most alts did not surpass in November what they did in April of 2021. Most alts didn't. Not Binance Coin, possibly Ethereum, but not most of the other top 10. Then you've seen Bitcoin dominance drop again. So some of these alts kind of did a little bit better during this period than Bitcoin, who sold off badly. Since then, Bitcoin dominance has been climbing. This has been a benign market. Down and flat. In fact, I want to take this up to the monthly, or at least bi-weekly. Let's get a bit more history in here. These are the big moves. 2017 high, Bitcoin dominance was down. This was a major bull market. Crashing in Bitcoin dominance was bullish. That was the 2020 high of Bitcoin. And everything else, Ethereum, super high. Then Bitcoin dominance climbs up into here. This was a bear market. This was all a bear market. It was all a bear market. And only really Bitcoin got this rally here for the secondary high, the 14K. Most of the other alts stayed flat as a pancake. A lot of butthurt alt traders, they never got that rally. That was all Bitcoin mainly climbing. Then we got another sell-off. Bitcoin dominance came off a little bit because Bitcoin had gone up quite a lot and the rest of the alts hadn't. COVID sell-off, man, that was bad for most alts and for crypto. Then, as we started the bull market, here's where we really got running for the bull market. And that is your Bitcoin down. So your big stages of Bitcoin dominance loss were bull markets. Bull markets. Into May. Since we ended those big bull markets, what do you think comes next? Well, you get this congestion period, which is waiting, just like you had the sell-offs, congestion, and then another sell-off. No one saw the 6,000 Bitcoin into 3,000. One of the few guys to have traded it short. People thought at 6,000 is too cheap because they were thinking 20,000 was the true value, as if the high is always the true value. So these were the bull markets. These climbing periods were not particularly good for crypto. They were not particularly good for crypto. In this instance, Bitcoin did go up. It went up to 14,000. But it wasn't a great time to be holding many alts. Most of them didn't move. If we take an alt and put it there instead of Bitcoin, let's go the likes of Binance, because it's been pretty, I don't want to go ADA, I want to go one that stayed in the top 3, Binance. No log scale that, because it's really tough to make anything of that without log scale. I will leave dominance, it doesn't need to be log scale. So again, 19, 20, largely underneath each other over here. How did it go? So, terrible period for dominance. That was bullish up until 2018. Then, bear market started 2018, bearish for Binance. You got dominance climb up to here. Binance only climbed a small amount. Then you had the COVID sell-off. 2020. Yeah. Dominance was coming down. What you actually got was Binance was outperforming Bitcoin a little bit during that period. Then dominance started to come back to Bitcoin, and that was into the high. And then Binance got onto its horse up to May. Since Bitcoin stopped shedding dominance, Binance is stuck. See that secondary high? That's where Bitcoin made a 69, this made a 64. That's lower. Binance is sitting like that, waiting to see what dominance does. Dominance goes up. It's likely that Bitcoin will be going up faster or going less down than the average alt. So it's not a universal truth that Bitcoin dominance regaining is going to be only bear market, but it's more likely to be bear market. Bitcoin's dominance being shed is typical of alt bull market. There aren't many instances where Bitcoin is crashing and all the alts are pumping. It means they're all going up and the higher beta is going up more. That is more universally true on the Bitcoin dominance downsides, these areas. So this is generally always a bull market, and you can see it. Look what it did for Binance. It came from up top there down to here into that period. It's a pity we haven't got enough history there actually. Even if I put Ethereum, which we will have more history for, you can see ETH hit its 1400. That was bull market, dominance. Not much of a rally compared to, don't forget this is log scale now. Put it back on regular scale, barely bounced. Bitcoin bounced. So the dominance is not an overwhelmingly positive aspect. The macro markets and the situation with debt, first it's fear, then it's inflation. Fear is deflationary. Risk assets of any variety go down. Risk assets of any variety go down. Yes, I'd love for everything to go awesome. Yes, we spoke about Luna one day, it can be awesome, but at the moment the macro is dominant. Look at that shooting star now on the big time frames. It's a mofo. Yes, it has got a little bit of hammer afterwards and a little bit of bid there, but it's being lent on again. And this is a super strong crypto recently. So you know we got issues with the crypto market on account of macro now. You saw what's happening to Crow. Let's have a look at the totals. Let's do total 2 first. Well, let's do all totals. Let's give you a full house update here. That is not how you typically bottom. You need to see a lot more before you can call that a bottom. That to me, the bull market ended here. It started here and it ended there. You then started to get a choppy market with a marginally higher high, and now you've gone down. This is a bad sell. Got broadening structure here, sitting, waiting. What's that going to mean? Maybe you rally here and then you can spill. It's typically continuation to downside. That's got a lot of Bitcoin in it. Don't forget, it's whatever it is, 42%. What was Bitcoin dominance? 42.5, yeah. So now we drop Bitcoin out of it. Let's just have a look at with ETH. Yeah, it is already there. Doesn't change a great deal in truth. This is still an uneasy parking bay in a macro environment where junk debt is about to fall through the floor. The Fed is no longer permission to just wade in and defend it. Normal government issued debt, people don't want to hold it. Do you want to earn 2.8 interest in an environment where your money is going backwards 16% and they're lying to you and saying it's only 8%? Ask your wife or whoever does the cooking in the house how much stuff has gone up. You know what to fill all your gas tank is all about. It's the 70s all over again. Yeah, there's just no Led Zeppelin this time. You can have Katy Perry instead. Not so sure. I'm excited by that. Again, similar structure, marginally higher high. This is heavy. It's hanging on a ledge here, waiting for lightning to strike, either to go down. This is not typical basing. You need to come really strongly up, meet this area over here, and make the only way you fix this and make it a potential technical bottoming structure is you create a W. That requires a substantial move to take you from 645 to 850s odd. 650 to 850 or 645 to 845. Give me 200 billion in market cap, not on Ethereum or Bitcoin. Where's that money going to be coming from? People selling their stocks? They're burnt, they're down, they're off their highs. People's loans are going up on their properties. That's terrible. So we also said in time DeFi may come to you and be an interesting structure. It is flat bottomed. That's all hell. That move up got stamped on, right back down. Real risk here. See that same technical structure. Bit of a head and shoulder there. Puffed out. Down, sell off. It made target. It was roughly there. And now it's in a holding pen. You need to get right the hell back up there for that W. Otherwise, this ain't bottoming. And we get us back up like that. Otherwise, we're in deep, deep trouble. This is a low. We need this. We needed that to come up there. This has gone messy. This couldn't. And everyone who thinks, no, that'll definitely stand. That won't. It becomes invalidated if it runs that and that. That's a down leg. And every time you look at it, you can see instances where that has in fact happened. I mean, for example, we're all waiting. When's that Ripple case going to end? Crypto needs a bit of positive news. This would be one of them, but it ain't coming yet. You see? You think that's not, we were thinking, oh, we've spoken positively about this at some point. But this is now turning so heavy, it's a descending triangle. It's very flat bottomed. You're leaning on this floor. You can pop just through that. It needs to literally go strongly up from here to save this situation. And it's hanging, it's hanging. Do you think the news flow is going to get better going into summer? Equities is sell in May and come back on St. Leger's Day, which basically means September-ish, going September, October. In other words, summer, Northern Hemisphere, everyone goes on holiday. No one cares about what the market's doing. They all get defensive, sell their stuff, lock in where they're at, and go away. And you've got a collapsing debt market, a collapsing stock market. So, I mean, I know you guys are crypto kidders, and that's cool, but you also understand indices and stoinks. So, ARK, the big poster girl for crypto, in the traditional world is Cathie Wood. Well, that's a round tripper of some note. Down, 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 down. That is a horrific sell. You've taken all of that back. Down, flag, down, rally. Yeah, we're back down here. It'll be all right. This is support. We won't go any lower. We're going lower. And now you're getting a rally at the moment, but you'll see how much lower you can go in an environment where indebted growth companies are facing higher interest rates. and go remortgage your house if you live in the States and see what's going on. The dollar is going up in strength. People say, oh, well, it's done so much. Man, it did so much to the downside that drove Bitcoin to 64K. This entire bull market, BTC USD, was during this period. Post the COVID announcements, there, down in the dollar. Reversed, we called this all over our channels, and now you're in a breakout. You're in a breakout. That's your funnel right there. Major pumpermentals breakout. And it can also go for a while. Guess what? The Fed doesn't want to print more because they're fighting inflation. In fact, they're going to tighten. Supposedly, they're going to take money away instead of print. Supposedly, they're going to stop buying bonds. Guess what that means for the market? Ever more strength to the dollar. Ever more strength to the dollar. We called this breakout before it even had this down leg on it. We felt that this would turn into continuation. We always suspect continuation because the trend coming into this was bull. Off secular seasonal lows. If you are trading Bitcoin, the dollar matters. You're trading it against the king fiat. You need the king fiat to die for you to win. It's simple. It's how it goes. That's your draw. This is your channel. This is crypto. You think you're looking at the dollar? This is your crypto future. Right there. Right there. Amount of times I've shown this chart on both the Market Sniper and others. Countless, but people don't understand. If the dollar is going to be strong, the yen gets clobbered, the euro gets clobbered, and crypto gets clobbered, you're flying or you're sailing into a headwind. And that's continued to be the case. Will it rest? Yeah, at some point. But it's going to run 111 in our view. And it's at 103. It's a long way. That's euro parity through the parity level, possibly 95. It's yen through 136, heading for 140s. That's what the dollar index through 111 means. How do you think your speculative, high beta, altcoin does in that environment? Again, as I say, Bitcoin is not going to be the weakest in the fold. It could be flat. It could even be moderately up. I think it'll be down, but not near as much as the alts. This will be a maxi season. They'll get all cocky and start strutting. We're talking about XYZ coin that lost 90% and Bitcoin only lost 15 or 20. And it is one of those seasons in our view. So what does that mean for you? Unfortunately, not popular, stable coin. And if you're into trading and you understand HVF method, you know to put in a stop, a target, and an entry point, which you will learn on a program and a course with us, all fully recorded with updates, doing non-farm payrolls with the community, an hour and a half. You can even do a try before you buy, come for our non-farm payrolls. We have a crypto session, an hour and a half of crypto. We have after an hour and a half of traditional markets. And you can see exactly what we're all about and what the trade will be, where the stops are. But this dollar dominance, until it ends, and it's not ending till that point is run, is going to be very, very damaging for crypto. Can it breathe for a while? Yes, these are big charts. Monthly charts don't go straight line up the whole time. We've already had a lot of green months, but we negate it. Don't forget, it went very hard down with that 7 trillion print for the CARES Act. It's only really recouped that now and is now pushing into new territory. So it can go longer than you think it will. This is a new channel. You've broken out of a macro falling wedge of weakening dollar. This is a trend change. It's the dollar milkshake likely, and we've been on this technically for a lengthy period. And that, my friends, is why I haven't got much positive news to tell you around crypto. But not around stocks either. If you're a NASDAQ trader, I would be like, get short. Even the commodities, where we commodity macro bullish, that's the inflation trade, they're going to go down too, which means silver and gold are battling. So in case you think I'm just being a boomer who's pushing silver and gold, I think you should have a stable of horses, not one horse. But I can tell you it'll put pressure on silver and gold too. It'll put pressure on silver and gold. You can have a stab down. I don't like this chart. At one point we thought it would go up, but this could have a stab down. Again, it's going to depend on how bad the inflation and the deflationary fear is. This is a real shooting star on the bigger time frames. Super tough being a precious metals fan recently. Since the high here, this was a great spell, by the way. We called this on the traditional channel, the Market Sniper. You're getting your rise, falling wedge there. We literally had that bull market. When we called short oil, we said go simultaneously long gold. That was your commodity neutral trade, and that's what you got out of gold, while oil was doing single digits move downside. I mean, it was the perfect pairing, truly it was. But now it's resting, and actually probably energies have been the hot spot recently. That is a shooting star. Gold is easing. It's not pretty for metals either. So, you know, I'm not in a camp. I'm not trying to crap on your team. I'm just here to tell you, in a downside orientated market, most things go down. That's why ultra short funds, that's when their moment comes, and then they lose money all the time, and then suddenly they make a bundle. That's kind of where you are. Okay, so that's your update on crypto. Bitcoin, the least bad of a bad bunch into a bad season, which is driven by macro negativity, largely. Loss of value in bond markets, which is going to undermine pensions, which is going to undermine so much. It is serious reset issues. Post that, and the print that will come when the Fed finally U-turns and prints, and the CBDCs come, and all the other agendas of UBI, and it's going to be a whole different world, and a lot of shortages, a lot of chaos, a lot of pandemonium. They're going to create a problem like you haven't seen before, in my view. But then eventually that we'll see, as money fails and as the other currencies fail, they will start to see a divergence in Bitcoin. The one chart I often regularly do for you guys that I haven't done yet is also the Bitcoin versus the NASDAQ or the tech stocks. Who's the uglier of the two? And actually Bitcoin, again, it's Bitcoin, which is on the Bitcoin dominance, expected to go up in dominance, is doing less badly than certain tech indexes that are overvalued. So we just capture this area, we divide it. I'm going to make it the IXIC, which is the NASDAQ composite, which captures most tech stocks. And if we do it, you can see you're kind of holding your own. This is not great technical. So this is Bitcoin divided by, you're not going up relative to it. You actually had to skid out the bottom a little bit there. So maybe you could come down and revisit. The macro, we had hoped for some form of squeeze. I think you could come down and either make a W bottom here. So remember, I was drawing those W bottoms with the fat blue line. You could maybe do something like this. Then we could turn, and then we could be back up and make a nice 3 and rest, and then we could be breaking upside, which will mean that all your wet dreams coming true are not quite ready to happen, but they could come in time. So this one looks a little bit like, a little bit more dribbling around, doing nothing too much. It gets interesting once we go back above 3.3. So that means one Bitcoin buys you 3.3 baskets of NASDAQ stocks. So that's going to Microsoft, all the other oligopolies, a bit of Tesla, a bit of Schmoogle and Alphabet and all the other dodgy surveillance, finance, technological monopolies. So that's where you're at. We need to get above that level. That's your old legacy neckline for that head and shoulders on the Bitcoin divided by the IDC. And on that point, Ethereum, as I say, has been pretty strong and is showing relative strength to Bitcoin. I think the proof of work narrative is working for them a certain degree. So they may do okay until it gets really, really sketchy. If we go into real fear, it will give up ground, and that is still not a beautiful chart. So I don't want to be in Bitcoin or Ethereum, and if you're in the more speculative alts, the total 3, You've already fallen out of this basing grind line, and that's not positive. If we divide that by, again, IXIC, NASDAQ comp, how's the alts doing, excluding, I don't like it. These could fall worse than the NASDAQ. After having had a much better upside, they could have a very brutal downside. Look at that rising wedge. Textbook. Spill. Squeeze. Spill. And now you've come out, you often get a return move and you can go lower. So it's very peaky. This is excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that'll have your market cap. Let's have a look at the market cap for you, with you, while we do it. Cryptocurrencies market cap. Don't forget, we've had a dodgy weekend, so these 24-hour percentages upside should be taken with a pinch of salt. You're 4.3, almost 5% down over 7 days. You're 11% down. That's Ripple, that never had a second phase bull market because of the court case. They were just stymied. Binance 3.4% down over 7 days. Solana 13, Luna 13, Cardano 13, 12.5, 13. The things that aren't going down are the money, the fiats. There's more and more fiat in this top 10 than there's ever been. You know, it's truly, let's just make this point here. Number 3, Tether. Number 5, USDC. Number 10. Number 11. You're being crowded out here in the top 15. You've got four stable coins now. And they billion market caps, 83 and 50, they're huge. 83 and 50, it's 120 plus another almost 40, 35. You've got 155 billion in market cap here. That's huge, 155 billion market cap. I mean, that's bigger than XRP, it's bigger than Binance, XRP. It's half of Ethereum's market cap. It's truly vast. Binance is below, it's at number 4. It's really, really big. So the stablecoin market is actually really dominant. Really dominant. Right the way down to 11. So that's my take. Thanks for checking in with us. As I say, it costs nothing to have a chat. We'll keep you in defense. We're taking a few snippets of positives on the short side. It's nice to make money when others are being hurt. I'm sorry to say that if you're one of those that get hurt. I don't want you to be hurt. But, you know, when you get given lemons, make lemonade. Don't feel bitter, you know. It's kind of how the story goes. So that's HVF Method. A little bit of an intro. Thanks for watching. And, you know, when there's something that's major to change, we'll update you. What do you think Bitcoin will do? How far will it fall if it falls? What will Ethereum and Binance do during that period? Leave me a comment. To me, it looks like Bitcoin's going to fall the least far in percentage terms. Ethereum probably next. But, you know, I don't want to be in any of them. I don't want to fall in anything. That's why I'm stable. Which are your favorite shorts? Why are we going to be wrong? You tell us. In the comments below, we read them all. And watch out for spammy comments. We don't reply. We never send you to a Telegram group, a WhatsApp group, or anything. We have a bespoke platform, designed learning environment. It's not on any white label platform like Telegram, Slack, Discord, WhatsApp. anything like that at all. Nobody gets our clients' names and emails, and we sell our list to nobody. So nobody gets marketed. You're clear, and you're in a perfectly safe and secure environment that's controlled by us. Anyway, without saying any more, thank you for watching. Hit the likes and the shares. We appreciate it. Until next time, bye for now.